So the Halloween banner just came out and we have 4 new units with some pretty interesting characteristics to them. We have Cat Girl Sakura, who is going to be our infantry dagger. We have what I think is a Frankenstein JAKOB, who is our first armored archer. We have Henry, who I think is supposed to be a vampire, is our first armored mage. And then we have NOWI, who is our red flyer, and who completes the triple trifecta of flyer mages, which is something I'm not looking forward to, honestly. Our first unit is Halloween Sakura, and she comes with a Kitty Paddle Plus, which is a dagger that is effective against magic. So just like how the poison dagger is effective against infantry, this is effective against magic. So I assume you can use this against flyers, cavalry, and now the one armored mage we have in the game. It also inflicts defense and resistance -7 if you don't kill them. So one good thing to point out, it's inheritable. It has the plus on it. So this, you could give this to other dagger users if you really want. But Sakura is pretty well equipped to use it. Her kit is very well made for tanking mages. She comes with Glacies, so she's probably going to have a decent res stat. Warding Stance 3 is basically the resistance version of Steady Stance, and I assume we'll get another version for speed as well as attack, which would be kind of weird, but I assume it will happen sometime in the future. She also comes with Guard 3, which is actually very nice, probably good for fighting against mages who have very strong specials. And she comes with Dagger Valor 3, so other dagger units can get 2 times SP if you want to train them up. One important thing you want to note is that the Kitty Paddle Plus, even the debuff effect, is only effective against mages. So in reality, if you aren't fighting any mages, this is actually a really terrible weapon. So maybe it'll be useful. It's honestly pretty useful now in Arena since a lot of people run mages, but if they aren't, then it's a really bad weapon. Oh boy, so Halloween JAKOB is our first armored archer, and you can tell this because he has Warrior Fighter 3, which is only inheritable by other armor units. His bow, the Monstrous Bow Plus, actually inflicts an AoE panic on all enemies within 2 spaces of his target. And this is the same as Veronica's tome from the story, and it's also inheritable, which is pretty interesting. I didn't think we would actually get this effect until maybe we got Veronica as a playable character. It's going to be really strong. He also comes with Ignis, so probably a pretty decent defense unit as an armor unit. That's to be expected. His A skill is Bracing Blow 2, which is just he grants defense/res +2 during combat if the unit initiates combat. So I guess it's good. It's a good skill if you want to cover defense, physical, and magical threats. It doesn't exactly specialize in one, but +4 is honestly pretty good if you're fighting against general army. Another thing to note is that JAKOB could be a perfect user of close counter. Same as what you give melee armor units distant counter, you could give our new ranged armor units close counter. It's effectively the same effect. I think he's a nice addition to the game. Not really sure how strong he's going to be. That's going to come down to what his actual stats are and what the stat spread is. But there's very few armor units in the game as is, and I feel like the only free ones they want to give us are all red sword units for some reason. Our next unit is going to be Henry, who is our first armored mage in the game. Specifically, he's a green mage, which is a good color for baiting Reinhardt. His weapon is the Spectrotome Plus, which, just like JAKOB's bow, grants a AoE panic effect after combat on all enemies within 2 spaces of the target, and works really well with his built-in Armor March 3. Essentially, think about it like you get an extra space to work with, thanks to being a ranged unit. He also comes with Reprisal, which is nice for an armor unit since they usually have a high amount of HP. And he also comes with Live for Honor, which is basically a special skill that gets you 1.5 times the normal amount of badges from the training tower, which is really nice since now with the Sacred Seal Forge you will need a lot of badges. So honestly, if you don't want to grind as much, maybe you want to pick up Henry. Like I said, I think he's going to be good with Armor March because I didn't think Armor March was that overpowering with melee units, but now that we have 2 ranged armor units, it could be really good since another space to work with, especially for armor units who have usually higher stats than their infantry counterparts, is really nice. And for one issue I had with it before is that even with the 2 movement spaces, and even though you can move through trees, you still kind of were outpaced by flyer units and cavaliers. But now with ranged units, that could change. I don't know. We'll have to see. So our final unit is Halloween NOWI, who is our first flying red mage. She completes a trifecta, of flying mages, and I expect to see teams with all three of them all buffed up by flyer buffs. Her special weapon, which is not inheritable, is Grimoire, and interestingly it has Flyer Formation 2's effect, kinda. And I don't have Elincia, and I'm not sure exactly how the skill works. It does specify that you can move adjacent to any ally or an ally rather than a flyer ally, like it says in Flyer Formation's actual description. I'm not sure if that's a typo, but that could be really useful since before it was only limited to flying units. I'm not really sure how it works. If if one of you guys have Elincia, let me know in the comments below exactly if she can fly to only flyers or if she can fly to any allies. She also comes with Reposition, which is always a nice skill to have. And she comes with a new A skill, which is Attack/Res Bond 3. And what this does is it grants attack and resistance +5 to this unit during combat if the unit is adjacent to an ally. So honestly, that works really well with her Grimoire's passive, since she should be next to some type of ally. It also works well with Wings of Mercy or Escape Route. I'm sure we'll see other versions of this, and will there be an attack/speed variant, because honestly +5 attack and speed is pretty damn powerful if you think about it. Her B skill is Live for Bounty, which just like Live for Honor, grants 1.5 times shards and crystals from the training tower instead of badges. While not as useful, still a nice bonus to have if you really feel the need to farm those. And NOWI is going to be our second Honed Flyers carrier. The only one was Hinoka, and I hope you didn't spend all your orbs on the banner that just came out a few days ago, which was the flyer buff banner basically. Well, now there's a second person who has Honed Flyers, and definitely means you're going to see more flyer teams in the arena. So my personal thoughts on the banner is that I think it's really cool that we have 3 new inheritable weapons. It's really nice that they also have really good effects. I think the dagger class in general kind of needs more tools, and I think it's actually really cool that there's more weapons such as the poison dagger that is effective against one type of unit. So the kitty paddle is going to be effective against mages, which is actually really strong. Even though it's not effective against anything else, I'm not entirely sure how that will play out, but you know, could be good. Also, AoE Panic is here sooner than I thought. I didn't think we would actually get this until Veronica was a playable character, since I thought that was actually a pretty strong effect. But now we got 2 weapons that basically just give anyone the ability to grant that. So there you go. You have to be careful if you're running teams that rely on buffs, especially Blade Tome users. So I think Armor March as a skill got better thanks to our ranged armor units. Extra mobility plus range on these armored units who usually have higher stat totals is actually going to be pretty crazy. I'm not entirely sure like how powerful JAKOB or Henry are going to be themselves, but you know, maybe in the future if there's a good ranged armor unit, Armor March is probably going to be really good with them. Also, we're going to have triple mage flyer teams now, so they can each cover all 3 aspects of the weapon triangle. I'm not exactly psyched to see that. I already thought like Summer Corrin and Spring Camilla were pretty scary if you could get them full with buffs, and honestly it's just another thing you're gonna have to deal with, just like with full teams of Cavaliers. Oh boy. Last thing I want to note is that Sakura and NOWI both have 5 skills, and the last time we saw that, which was Sigurd on the last banner, he got the Choose Your Legend stat boost, which is kind of odd since at the time it was like, why did he get extra stats for no reason basically? And he even got the special uninheritable B skill. Even though Sakura and NOWI both have special skills that are essentially only useful for training, you can see that even Henry also got one of those special skills, and only he got 4 skills I mean. So, you know, if they do get stat boosts, I'm not really sure what to say about that. It could be like in that aspect you're kind of heading into power creep territory where we're just giving units more stat totals than other ones in their class, and that's could be a worrying trend if it continues. We're just gonna have to see. Overall, I think this is a pretty good banner. Again, probably will come down to how each of their stats look, but honestly just from a skill set wise, pretty strong. A lot of cool new skills, a lot of rare skills such as Armor March, and I don't know, I think a lot of these might be useful, especially the 2 armored range units which are completely new to the game. It's going to be interesting to see how they shake things up. I hope you guys enjoyed, and good luck on your rolls.